Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Hey, Fender Japan dropped some cool new stuff. I thought we'd talk about it today. And if you're interested in any of this, hey, I do offer a forwarding service. I can help you get them. But starting things off, we have a new Made in Japan Hybrid 2 Stratocaster. And normally this model looks like this. You have your choice of finishes and fretboards, but it's just your basic Stratocaster. They're pretty nice. I actually had somebody just order one of these things, so we might see this variation get unboxed on the show. But basically, it's a hybrid Stratocaster that looks vintage but has some modernized appointments to it, such as a better neck shape and a 9.5-inch fretboard radius. But the coolest thing about these is they just come in a whole bunch of different colors. Those are old news. Here's the newest one. So they've changed some things up here. First off, we now have an HSS setup, so that means you've got the humbucker in the bridge. You've got this tortoiseshell pickguard on this like mystic blue finish. It looks like that is going to be a slightly metallic finish. That's pretty cool. And then look at our neck. We have a Telecaster neck on it, except for it's a lefty Tele neck because our headstock is just completely upside down. You don't see that too often. Like you have the Michiya Haruhata Stratocasters that had the reverse Stratocaster style, but you just don't see this as often. But besides the maple neck, looks like we're rocking an alder body. I don't know, these things are pretty darn cool. And they're about 150,000 yen. So after PayPal's conversion, it's probably closer to 1,200 USD. But you gotta remember, these are one of those Japan exclusive guitars. So unless you have an inside source in Japan, you can't get one of these because they're only sold online and at the Fender shop in Michiya, America Mura. However, if you want something kinda similar but a little bit more zesty, check this thing out. This is a CME exclusive. They also have them at Anderton's. They partnered up to sell this. They call it the Mischief Maker Stratocaster. Now this one, instead of being metallic blue, it's a metallic purple color and it's road worn, so it's got a little bit of a relic job to it. And granted, it's a normal Telecaster headstock, just about at the same price, and it's a little bit more readily available for people in the USA. And I would say it probably has better spec'd out pickups. But I'm biased there. I love the Pure Vintage series. But next we have a huge release. Scandal, the band, is getting a whole new set of signature instruments. I found out about these because somebody left a comment on one of my videos, so I checked it out and it's like, okay, I've got some things to share about these. So first off, if you don't know this band, check out this review and demo. This is not their first round of signature guitars. I've documented Haruna's signature Telecaster. That thing was kind of interesting, mainly due to the whole Gretsch/drum shell like binding that thing had. That was an interesting piece that I made somebody very happy about because they had to post it all over the internet, that they were so happy I reviewed it. So here you go, throwing you a bone again, my gracious viewer. Besides that Tele, there was a Mami Stratocaster that was red, and then there was this precision bass. So let's check these things out one by one, starting with Omochi. So instantly, I'm kinda let down about this one because it seems to be a new port of a guitar that was just discontinued by Fender Japan. It was called the Made in Japan Modern Stratocaster. I mean, you can see all the cool colors these things had. I was tempted to pick one of these things up to review and document it, but ultimately I just decided, not necessarily the guitar for me. I think I was gonna go for this like ice blue metallic because that looked pretty sweet. What made these things so cool is they're a pickguardless Stratocaster, but they're a flat top with binding. Everything else about them is just, kind of fairly modern, just like the Fender Japan Modern Jazzmaster takes away the pickguard. There's also a couple of Telecasters that do a very similar thing. So let's see what's different this time. We have like an off-white finish with a matching headstock, so that's all about the same. We've got a rosewood fretboard, and it looks like we have some like special engravings on our pickups. However, if you look at the old series and then go back to this, you're gonna notice, we lost one of our knobs. Honestly, I kind of like that. I know that knob right there is best for volume swells, but if you don't do that, it's just kind of in your way. So it's nice that it's not there. It kind of gives this guitar something unique. It would have been great to have the output jack moved to the side, but this is not my signature guitar. I'm not the one that designed it. What does that matter? So the way I see this is it's just an updated take on one of those, because the back is pretty much the exact same as well. Since we don't have a pickguard on the top, we have to have a control plate on the back. It has the whole swooped cutaway heel and just a regular maple neck here with their signature decal. But some interesting specs about this one: compound radius, regular scale length that you're used to, satin neck, but you've got a gloss body. And then this is one of those transformer necks from modern C to a D. And 22 frets, that's nice, with the bone nut and medium jumbo style frets. Now what's nice here is they are saying these are custom humbucking pickups, so that does make it a little bit different than the other series. But I'm not sure if they're saying custom wound for her, or it's just the design that they put on them that's making it custom. Because the way this description reads, seems it might just be the latter. That's 187,000 yen. If you're in Japan, outside, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more to get it. But next up, we've got Haruna's latest masterpiece. Okay, so I've got a similar qualm against this one, but it took a base model that already exists and expanded upon it in a great way. About a year or so ago, Fender Japan actually did their own run of Troublemaker tellies. They did them in a black finish, they did them in crimson red, and you also had Arctic white. And those of themselves were iterations of the American-made ones. You had the original run in 2018 that you can check out in this review and demo, and then following that up around 2020, we had the Troublemaker Customs. I've also documented each of those. Very interesting guitars from Fender, part of the Parallel Universe series. So I was pretty excited to see Fender Japan make their own version that is now currently out of production. So this thing brings it back, but changed so much about it. First off, brand new to the Fender Japan side of things, we have an all-white finish and a matching headstock. Now you could say, hey, doesn't that just look like the USA variation? Yeah, a little bit, but it's new for Japan. But we've got the Fender branded pickups here that are actually really nice Humbucker 1T and 2Ts. And it's still a gloss finish with a mahogany body. That's what makes these tellies interesting. They're all mahogany. Well, at least they used to be. That's what I love most about this, is they changed the neck completely. So all the other ones had the big Telecaster Deluxe style headstock. You know, it just kind of looked like a big Stratocaster. Very late 60s and 70s influenced. This one has the smaller Telecaster style headstock. So A, that makes it completely new as compared to everything. So that's a welcome addition. However, we flip this over, it's a maple neck. All the other ones were mahogany. And we haven't even talked about the maple fretboard yet being a brand new option. And having Jazzmaster block inlays? That is sweet. I like it. There's so much different about this one that makes it worthy of re-reviewing. The backside of the headstock has her signature decal. And obviously, you have to have back plates here because you don't have a pickguard on the front. But this would not be a Haruna signature guitar if she didn't blend some other cool element into this thing. And it's right there. We've got moto binding, so mother of pearl toilet seat stuff going on. So it's kind of like her last one that had the golden binding. This time we just have a pearloid material. You know, kind of similar to what you have in the fretboard. That's a must review for me. I don't care if anybody sponsors that review or not. I'm getting one of those things in. But anyways, they called this one Boost. So naturally, I was expecting we'd have like a push-pull pot on one of these to have like a 5 or 10 decibel boost, you know, to boost the sound of your guitar. No, it's just regular Les Paul style layout. And according to this, the Boost name suggests that it's a condensed version of Haruna's commitment to support Scandal's songs. That explanation makes no sense to me, but okay, it's called Haruna Boost. I won't go too far into the rest of the specs on this one because we'll eventually see that one on the workbench. So now we move on to the third new band member's guitar, Tomomi's jazz bass. So when I first saw this, I was like, meh, it's a nice jazz bass, but it doesn't get me really excited. But then I started to look into it just a little bit more. So not that you can really tell it from these photos, this is actually a see-through Fiesta Red color. Normally Fiesta Red looks like this. It's solid, you don't see the wood grain underneath. Now that I've told you, look right here, yeah, you can see the wood grain of the alder body. But they've packed this with pure vintage 64 style jazz bass pickups. So that's nice, but get this, they have stacked knobs. So at first I thought, is that like an active bass? Do they have like an EQ control system? No, apparently these are just the volume and tone controls. Now at this time, I'm unsure, is this neck pickup volume up here and then the bottom one is the neck pickup tone? Or is it volume for the neck, volume for the bridge, tone for the neck, tone for the bridge? It's some sort of a combination of that, but even though you have 2 knobs, you've got 2 knobs built into each, so you really do have the 4 controls if you need it. But then you flip over to the back and you see something else that I haven't seen before. You've got the sculpted heel on a bass, and it's 5 bolts on there. We're almost getting into Reverend territory there with 6. Here you can start to see the wood grain through that a little bit better. But what I really like on the stock photo example is look at that. Super flamed figured neck on this thing. Well, maybe not that crazy, but you've got the good wood grain on top of that. I'd be happy with one of those. And they've got the old vintage style Fender logo. So it was a little bit cooler than I first thought. But now my biggest question is, what is this? I don't see any mention of it in the description. Is it even meant to be there? Is that like a design choice that they have this line? It almost looks like some sort of a cable or something. I don't know. We'll just have to find out, I guess. Wait till we get some dealer stock photos. But it looks like we've got the satin neck, gloss finish on the body, slim C neck shape with the rosewood fretboard, 9.5-inch fingerboard radius with a 34-inch scale length. All pretty basic specs for a jazz bass. And it's being offered at 187,000 yen. So yeah, that'll get a little bit expensive to import one of those, but hey, it's an option. Oh, and to match these new Scandal signatures, they have signature straps, but they're like $100 a piece. So these are like good straps. And I've got to say, they look pretty good. I like that they have both of the branding on here. This is a good looking strap to me. They also have a white/brown one. That looks pretty good. The branding's way harder to see on that though. And just a straight up brown one. But if those weren't quite your style, I've got a couple of other delicious offerings to tell you about today. I'm already going to tell you, I have one of these coming already, so we'll talk about it more in depth then. But Fender Japan has re-brought back the International Color Collection that they did in the early 80s. So we used to have these really cool blue Strats. You had this yellow one. There was a freaky orange one. They did a whole bunch of cool custom colors in the early 80s. These are semi-what collector's items yet today because, they're just interesting. And since Fender Japan likes to be interesting, they brought back like all the colors, the 70s specs, everything that you could want in a slightly more affordable price point, somewhere around $1,000 or so. Now, obviously, it's going to get more expensive to bring it back to America, but this is great for people in Japan. So here's our Strat. We've got Capri Orange, Morocco Red, Maui Blue, Sahara Taupe, and Monaco Yellow. All very solid options. But if you really take a look at these, you're going to notice we've got the bullet truss rod coming back. You've got the double string trees. And this is definitely a 70s spec'd out Strat. Ah, man, they even did the 3-bolt neck with micro tilt and the F-stamp tuners. Gotta love it. But it looks like they're just going to make these for the rest of 2022. So limited edition, but maybe not like ultra limited. They're making them out of basswood, got the U-shaped neck with a modern fretboard radius, only 21 frets with standard pickups. The Stratocaster gets slightly less options with the Sienna Sunburst, Maui Blue, Monaco Yellow, and the Morocco Red. We've got similar specs on this one. Wow, the precision bass is severely limited in colors. Morocco Red and Sienna Sunburst. Honestly, that one's not all that special, but it's there if you want an interesting limited edition. And the jazz bass spices things up a little bit more. So once again, you get the yellow, you get the Maui Blue, which is just a beautiful finish. And then Sienna Sunburst with the rosewood fretboard. That's a pretty nice looking bass. I like the fact that they have the thumb rest right there. And they even have the holes right here for the neck pickup cover if you wish to put it on. I'm not sure if they're going to be including it or not. But again, we've got the bullet truss rod, all the stuff you'd want. So, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed learning about all these new Fender Japan models. Again, if you're interested in any of this and you need help getting it to the USA, most times I can help if it's a brand new item. But trust me, it gets expensive. There's forwarding costs, duties, and taxes that we did not discuss in this episode. But if you really want it, I can make it happen. Just Google Trogly International Forwarding Service. Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.